I have issues with people flinging shit, and I hate it even more when people fling shit towards others fling it back at them, and they play the victim when they got hit. It's turning into a snowball fight, except it's filled with nothing but brown, and it's going to smell like really bad.
Why I deleted my Steam account. Valve's dominance in the PC gaming space is made more harmful by its tolerance for toxic users.
This person is a senior editor of GameIndustry.biz, a very prominent site for gaming industry news. This person just deleted his Steam account just because he wanted to virtue signal of how much better of a person he is because he never flung shit towards people. The only problem is he made an article that was cited in the first couple of paragraphs that actually about flinging shit at people.
Breaking the outrage cycle. Anger and abuse from fan communities have become a routine part of the games industry, but they don't have to be.
Well, this article is about the Destiny 2 Shatter debacle, but you won't know that it's about that because it was only mentioned briefly in the end. This guy just went on tangents for too long in why this article is made. If you don't know about the Destiny 2 Shatter debacle, basically, unlike Destiny, where you can just apply whatever armor colors that you unlock to your heart's content and switch it anytime you want, in Destiny 2, you really have to be careful on choosing the color of your goddamn armor because they are literally one use and you have to pay for it if you want to use another color again. No, really, I fucking shit you not. This is not only a downgrade from the previous game, this is a downgrade with the added bonus of microtransactions. This is not even considering the fact that some of the shaders are rare loots and that you can only apply those rare loots once. So if you want to get another shade of your armor, you're gonna need to do those raids all over and over again. Even as someone who doesn't play Destiny, that is one of the scummiest business practices that I have ever seen. Game developers are milking players for every aspect of the game. Next time they're gonna sell out the fucking options menu just because they can. So how can that relate to this article? Well, this guy refused to cover the Destiny 2 Shatter debacle because he's worried that the article is going to contribute into the outrage that the gamers have caused towards the game developers. In other words, this guy refuses to cover that debacle up because he wanted to protect Bungie's ass from gamers who shout, "What the fuck, Bungie?" At some point in the same article, he even went on to emotionally manipulate you by citing stories of how games join people together and create lives. Game developers are just trying to make a profit, guys, by milking every aspect of the game for money. All of these abuse and outrage, they don't deserve it, and we refuse to contribute to the outrage cycle by making the article about that debacle. We're gonna take the brave stance that game developers did nothing wrong and that consumers who hurl outrage towards them are horrendous monsters. And all of that despite the fact that he recognized that microtransaction is a problem. He's protecting Bungie's ass here basically, and not once he even recognized that among those outrages towards the Shadow debacle, there are legitimate criticisms and grievances to be had, and he instead focused on the fact that players say mean words to game developers and review bomb video games. This reminds me of a couple of comments in my Cuphead videos, basically saying that the harassment Dean Takahashi received for his horrendous gameplay is basically undeserved. He didn't deserve all the hate that is coming to him. I mean, just because he cannot get past through this simple tutorial level for 1 minute and 30 seconds while being a fucking game journalist, he doesn't deserve all the hate. That is a horrendous non sequitur. If you are more focused on the angry and racist comments hurled towards Dean instead of the underlying issue that a game journalist who writes game reviews take 1 minute and 30 seconds from it to get past a simple tutorial level, then it's clear that you don't want to fix the issue. You just want to protect people's feelings from being hurt. Now, call me a horrible person, but I am more on the mindset that I will not protect your feelings when you shout 2 + 2 = 5 in front of kindergartens and shout anyone who disagree with you as angry, entitled children. If you got called a doodlehead or stupid by one of the children, I am siding with the children. Sorry, but you are wrong. You deserve to be scrutinized. What about the hate that he received? The guy failed on the tutorial level while being a game journalist for 1 minute and 30 seconds. Bungie tried to milk you for money. Zoe Quinn banged a game journalist and they didn't disclose their relationships. If you tell gamers that they shouldn't be angry by greed, incompetence, and corruption, next time I will be telling you to not be angry if I give you a cookie full of spiders. I also love the fact that in that article he said that when customers are being treated with bad business practices, that should be a point in which they go to another game. Dude, this isn't a matter of personal taste. If somebody goes into a game full of sexy women and say, oh my god, too much sexy women, yeah, that guy can go find another game. The game is clearly not suited for him. No, this isn't about people who don't like sexy women coming into a game full of sexy women. This is a critique of people who come into Destiny 2 for fun, only to be slammed with downgraded elements filled with microtransactions. This is a very objective critique that can be proven with evidence, and you refuse to cover that because, oh no, we don't want to contribute into the abuse that the game developers receive from their customers because they're abusing their customers. Fucking amazing! You're going to excuse the game developers' greedy practices because the fans shout mean words at you, and that is horrendous. Good position that you're taking there, mate. Again, you fling your shit first. We fling shit back. And you play the victim when we fling it. How are you a senior editor? I bet this is going to be a wonderful article.
Earlier this week, I wrote about a recurring problem in games and what I was going to do as a member of the media to try and fix it. Today, I'm going to talk about something I'm doing to fix it as a customer and gamer.
Your previous article is literally telling everyone to look at themselves in the mirror and think if they have contributed something into the outrage. And by outrage, you mean if they have contributed into the criticism of Bungie milking their players out. You're telling people that it's their fault, not the developers.
I hadn't intended to write a follow-up piece, but I hit a bit of a breaking point this week with the 1-2 punch of PewDiePie dropping the N-word on stream and Bungie removing a white supremacist symbol from its Destiny 2.
Oh, for God's sake. I have another video discussing the PewDiePie situation and you all knew what happened in there. As for Bungie removing the white supremacist symbol from Destiny 2, they basically removed the Kekistan symbol because it represents a hate movement. I don't know how Persona 5 got away with this. Maybe because they were released just moments before this entire debacle popped up, or maybe because Japanese people aren't as overly sensitive as before, or maybe because it's Futaba-chan.
Both events are part of a wretched pattern that has been recurring in games for several years now. A pattern where we see some deep-seated prejudices in gaming culture come to the fore in alarming clarity for a moment. Everyone points and decries the awfulness. Then everyone else gets angry at the people who didn't like the awful thing.
He's basically saying that gamers are racist and sexist and prejudiced in this very sentence, and that people who say and point out that gamers are racist and sexist and prejudiced, gamers don't really like it. Good freaking God, mate.
If we're very lucky, the people who screwed up in the first place publicly apologize, reflect on their mistakes, and try to do better next time. It's much, much rarer to see anyone indirectly responsible for this pattern take an honest look at their role in it, and we absolutely need them to if this is ever going to get better.
You know, like PewDiePie. Just saying.
This is a cultural problem, which means all of us play a small role in making it better or worse, like riding a bike instead of driving a car, or using LEDs instead of incandescent lights. Our actions don't move the needle on their own, but can add up to something significant when combined with the actions of enough others. This week's event left me wanting to do something to make things better, and that's where I saw a not safe for work tweet with some screen caps of the Firewatch Steam forum.
It's the screenshots of the Firewatch forum being bombarded with people saying nigger, 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 not safe for work? How overly sensitive are you, mate? And here's the thing, in GameIndustry.biz, you also made articles that are either defending or leaning positive towards the illegal DMCA that the Firewatch game devs are trying to do towards PewDiePie. Again, I have another video explaining to you why that is stupid. This incredibly stupid move prompts people to spam your Steam forum with garbage. Well, you do something illegal to PewDiePie, you unlock the wrath of his fans. Seriously, how can you not see this happening in a mile away?
After PewDiePie dropped his racist interjection, Firewatch developer Campo Santo had the popular streamer's video of the game pulled from YouTube, using the service's copyright claims process. Angry gamers then began review bombing the title on Steam, and poured into the game's specific forums to flood them with abuse. Because that's how it's done now. Because we are gamers, and every avenue of the feedback available to us must be weaponized so that we can have things our way. Because we're so upset about the developer using a questionable invocation to DMCA that we would crusade arm in arm with overt racists and human garbage rather than let our rage go unvented for even a moment. See also people actually concerned with ethics in game journalism who provided willing cover for virulent misogynists and harassers during Gamergate.
Well, that's what happens when you fling shit at people. That's what happens when you fling illegal shit at people. People will fling shit back. And yes, it will smell. You don't like it? Well, stop flinging shit to people. Stop going into people and telling them that they're racist. Stop going into big YouTubers and pull off illegal stunts just because you don't like what he said. Seriously, this is one part of the tactics that these outsiders do. They go into a community, they fling shit at people, and they play the victim when they fling shit back. Also, I love the jab that you did towards Gamergate. You ignored the fact that journalists are unethical as fuck, and you just make it about how women are being harassed online, and at no point you even make any distinction between what is and isn't harassment. I also love the fact that people attribute the backlash to Dean Takahashi's Cuphead gameplay to Gamergate. So, is Gamergate about the problems in game journalism, or is it about harassing women in video games? I don't know.
Most of the threads in the Firewatch forum have since been consolidated, with the most exceptionally racist ones being deleted, but it wasn't Valve who handled the cleanup, because Valve offloads moderation of game-specific forums to the developers, just like the translation of its store pages or curation of its catalog. Valve seems to like nothing more to offload the work on others. That approach might be fine for some functions, but the company cannot abdicate responsibility to the community and culture that has come from its own neglect. That's why I'm terminating my Steam account.
So brave. So freaking brave. So you're terminating your Steam account because Valve does not have any responsibility for the community that it fostered. Well, actually they don't, because they cannot handle the huge amounts of users that they have. That's why they gave each game developers that responsibility. They have a decentralized system in which every game has their own community managers that deal with their own forums and communities. That's a great system because Valve cannot micromanage every game and every community in existence. And now you say that Valve is responsible for players shouting racist slurs towards game developers. I think you're the sorts of people who would associate Firewatch with PewDiePie. You're the sorts of people that Campo Santo are afraid of. I mean, the logic that Valve is responsible for the behaviors of its players is horrendous. They're there to give players the platform and they just so happen to host really bad players. Firewatch puts its game in public and some of its customers are as bad, if not worse, than PewDiePie. Again, what if a child rapist bought your game? Are you responsible for the child rapist because he bought the game and you contributed to his desires? It's basically video games cause violence all over again, and coming from you, I'm not surprised.
For as much as Valve's actions have revitalized the PC gaming scene in the last dozen years, its inaction has been steadily deteriorating gaming culture. Our own Rob Fahey has covered Steam community's woes before, but the company's dogmatic aversion to removing human judgment from every aspect of the operation is in effect a judgment call of its own, one that presumes everything is acceptable and there are no limits other than legal ones. And on the rare occasion Valve actually deviates from that approach and enforces some standards, it does so reluctantly.
Good God. I made a 3-parter video of how Steam is toxic, also by our fellow conspiracy theorist Rob Fahey. I wouldn't link on them because they're really damn old and outdated, but let's just say that Rob Fahey thinks that the bad reviews on Steam are being coordinated by gamers who just want to ruin the game developer's life. Well, here's a funny image that I found. When Bethesda did the Creation Club thing with Fallout 4, they just review bombed the game. And it worked. They worked really well. All game publishers who pull horrendous garbage like Bethesda or Rockstar or Paradox, the moment they decided to screw the consumers will fight back by spamming bad reviews on Steam, because that's the only way for consumers to voice their concerns. That's the only way for consumers to actually have their voices heard. You don't like that system? Well, stop screwing us in the ass. And we wouldn't do it. Stop flinging shit at people if you don't want to have your shit flinged back.
Right now, you can find hatred, playing History 2 Slave Trade, and House Party on the storefront, showing that Valve has no problem with the glorification of mass shootings, the trivialization of atrocities, or the gamification of rape. We can give them some points for consistency though, as the availability of paranautical activity suggests Valve is unwilling to take a stand even against death threats to its own founder.
Oh, great. Oh, fucking great. I called it. I freaking called it just moments right before you say these. These games glorify mass shootings, atrocities, and rape. Are you saying that those games are responsible for players acting like jackasses on the internet? Or are you just pointing out that Valve has some sort of a double standard? Like, why is that even a comparison? You're shifting the blame on pretty much every single thing except yourself.
Gotta blame somebody, otherwise it's all my fault. Fuck that.
Also, regarding that story of paranautical activity, that's an interesting story of a game developer who has his game being put on early access despite it being a full version. A technical difficulty from Steam themselves that could have been resolved if he wasn't a massive prick who sent actual death threats to Gabe Newell, and he got fired for it. Wow. I would never do that to any Google or YouTube CEO, even if I think their products are going to the stinker. A more interesting question about that paragraph is, why do you have to put these two together as if they're the same? The glorification of horrendous things in fiction are not the same as horrendous things being done in real life. If you send direct death threats to Gabe Newell, that's not the same thing as murdering a pixelated blob. If you're equating this, you are mental, mate. The article went on to cite racist groups on Steam. A hilarious one was the Nazi recruitment group order. Despite the fact that the article was made in 2017, the group's most recent post is in 2015. So you're being trended by a group who is inactive for 2 years? Are you fucking kidding me, mate? There's also a group called Whites Only, and the link says, "No Negroes in my white America." No screenshots, but the group has since been deleted. Same goes with the Nazi group. This part is also hilarious.
Maybe nobody's noticed them. Oh wait, no, here's a post in the Steam help forums asking people to help ban the group for being racist. Well, maybe Valve hasn't seen it. Oh wait, there's a post from a Valve community mod locking the threat and linking to the support page on how to report abusive behavior.
So apparently there was a forum post of someone asking to brigade a racist group, but one of the moderators locked the thread and pointed out to a support page in how to report abusive behavior. Standard procedure, but this isn't good enough for GameIndustry.biz, the moral guardian who wants to protect game developers who abuse players for money. I love this guy Hot Sauce who asked the user, are they harassing users? Are they spamming things in the forum? And even asked, what did they do to you? Yeah, those are legitimate questions actually. This thread was created out of pure paranoia and a desperate measure of virtue signaling. Don't worry guys, I'm a good person, and I'm going to show you how much of a good person I am by asking people to flag a channel that I really don't like. Okay.
By the way, Steam had 12.9 million users online at the same time today. Steam is a massive chunk of the gaming community, and Valve has offloaded moderation responsibilities to the developers and the users to a staggering degree. The company is so dedicated to having other people fix its problems that when I filed my request to terminate the account because I was sick of the toxicity, the first response I got from Steam support said, "Please make sure you're using the report violation feature to report inappropriate behavior or users on Steam."
Got him! Oh my god, that is hilarious. Yeah, this is exactly what you need to do to these moral guardians. Make them do their own fucking job and stop giving these people power. You want to remove toxicity? Let's start with your ass.
Whatever benefit Steam once offered me has been more than offset by the harm it caused to its marginalized users, gaming culture, and society as a whole. I won't be a part of that community any longer.
Aw, you're trying to protect me now. Oh god, these users who have said the N-word right to my face, a person of color. My feelings are hurt, Game Industry Biz. My feelings are hurt. Please help me.
As consumers, we can stop buying new games from Steam if they are available on GOG.com, H.io, or an alternative storefront. Developers, make it a priority to get your games on as many storefronts as possible, even if they only incrementally boost the bottom line. Because right now, the PC gaming industry is entirely too dependent on a company with entirely too little interest in basic human decency, and it's hurting us all.
Oh my god. Keep in mind that GameIndustry.biz is a respectable website in the gaming industry. They host a lot of things from many different parts of the gaming industry. Valve, I want you to keep on what you're doing and keep telling these moral guardians to fuck off. These moral guardians are going to fling shit at you. Don't be afraid to fling shit back at them because honestly, some of these people really deserve it. And especially the pussy who are way too sensitive for every single thing. Wow. Oh, what a ride. That's all for the video today. If you like this, you can go ahead and click like button and subscribe for more. If you wish, you can support me on Patreon. And thanks for watching.